The Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6 is going lighter and tougher on design, bigger on AI. I am absolutely not an artist. I don't know, I kind of look like a weird Tom Brady in this one.
A little bit, yeah.
And surprise, even bigger on price. Here's what's new with Samsung's flagship foldable. The exterior display in the Galaxy Z Fold 6 is a little bit bigger than before at 6.3 inches. It was 6.2, and it's also a little bit wider. So if you're doing things like surfing the web, you'll notice that the keyboard is a little less cramped, which is really nice. And what's good about that is that the front display is more comfortable to use with one hand, especially if you're doing things like typing. So it's not as scrunched as it was before. And on the inside, the 7.6-inch display is a little bit wider than before, but about the same size. The biggest upgrade is the brightness. It's being boosted to 2600 nits, which is an increase from the 1750 nits of brightness on the Galaxy Z Fold 5. And that's especially important if you're trying to use a display like this in direct sunlight. Let's talk about the design real quick, because other than like the lighter weight, which I really like, the straighter edges, I think I'm kind of like mixed about, because on the one hand, it looks a lot sleeker than before, but it's a little bit sharp when you hold it in your hand, especially like when the corner is pressing against your hand. It's not that pleasant. But I can see why they went in that direction, just to have like a sharper overall edge. I would also say that the Galaxy Z Fold 6 is a little bit more pocket friendly, and that's because the design is thinner than before. It was 0.53 inches thick, and now it's 0.48, so it's a little under half an inch. When it comes to weight, you're getting a device that weighs 8.4 ounces, or 8.43 to be exact, versus 8.9 from before. And that increased portability makes a big difference when you're trying to put something like this inside your pocket. One of the things about the design of the Galaxy Z Fold 6 is that the dual rail hinge has been made lighter, but it's also very durable. And that brings us to another potential selling point of the Z Fold 6 overall, and that's durability. So Samsung is saying that the display itself, that the components are sturdier than before, and also it should be more resistant to like pokes and prodding, especially if you're using the S Pen, so less susceptible to damage over time. When you add in the Gorilla Glass Victus 2 on the front and back and the Armor aluminum hinge over here, we should have the most durable Galaxy Z Fold to date. One of the coolest applications by far in terms of AI on the Galaxy Z Fold 6 is Interpretor. And what's changed this time is that you can use the external display, the cover display, while you're having that conversation with someone else in another language. So if we get it fired up here, you could see that I'm seeing the language come through in Spanish, and on the other end, they would see English or vice versa. You can choose which language you want. So I'm going to tap on the microphone icon, and then you can see how quickly my sentences appear on the other side of the display. So how fast is the interpreter mode on the Galaxy Z Fold 6?
Muy bien.
And it works both ways. So you can see it's a two-way conversation that I can see on the main display as well as the cover display. So it's easy for both parties. And then also you have the ability to just listen in if you want, which is really great for things like lectures. But the most important thing to remember is that all of this is local. It's all like processed on device, so it's very private, but you can also run it quickly when you land in an unfamiliar country. I am absolutely not an artist, and I think that's the point of something like sketch to image. So if you want to bring your sketches to life and have them look a little bit more lifelike, you can do that. So all I have to do is trace around the drawing you want to transform. So I'll do that here. And it should take over from there. And you can choose the style that you want this to be in as well. I just drew a very crude tree. So in just a few seconds, we went from this to this. I think the output is actually pretty strong, especially since it's like filling in a lot of the gaps, because it's not like I started with a lot of detail. And it gives you multiple options that I would want to send out. I mean, I've never seen anything like this before on any other device, and not even the S24 Ultra. And I think that's one of the unique things about the Z Fold 6, but I could see it coming to other S-series devices down the line, maybe the S25 next. That AI goodness for the Galaxy Z Fold 6 extends to Google Gemini, which is built right into the phone, and you can get to that by saying, "Hey Google," or by using it within apps. So circle search is very easy to activate. All you have to do is just press and hold the home button, then you circle what you want to search, and then it goes out and finds it for you. I could see this being especially helpful for shopping, even if you're online, because remember, it works in any app, including things like TikTok. Powering all of these like entertainment, AI, and productivity features is a Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 chip, which is paired with 12 gigs of RAM, which is really important for on-device processing. Aside from productivity, another big selling point for having a big screen phone like this is gaming, and Samsung is making a big play for gamers with the Galaxy Z Fold 6 because it has a larger vapor chamber on the inside, and that means better cooling and better sustained performance while you're playing demanding games on the go. When it comes to cameras on the Galaxy Z Fold 6, there's not a ton of changes, but there is one notable one when it comes to hardware. So starting at the top, we have a 12 megapixel ultra wide. a 50 megapixel main sensor, and a 10 megapixel telephoto, which still has a 3x optical zoom. But the real upgrade is the ultra wide sensor. So not only are you getting better low light performance, you can also shoot 4K video at 60 frames per second. And another standout camera feature is what you could do with portraits. So let's see if I take a selfie right here. I then go into the gallery, and then you have the option of applying some AI magic. There's some AI goodies built into the camera app in addition to what you've seen on the S series. And one of those exclusive features for now is Portrait Studio. So I can make anything from a comic to a 3D cartoon to a watercolor and a sketch. I'll try the 3D cartoon. It takes a few seconds to process, so you have to be a little bit patient. The end result looks a little bit scary to me. It's kind of like the Incredible versions of me. I mean, it's not bad, but I can try to go to comic and then see if that looks any better. And again, you have to process it each time, so you have to be patient even as you go from one to the other. There's your first look at Tom Brady mark right there. For selfies, you actually have a couple different options. One is the 4 megapixel selfie camera that's here, and based on the results are actually pretty decent from what I've seen before, so maybe there's some processing going on in the background that makes up for the shortcoming in terms of hardware. But if you want sharper looking selfies, you're going to want to use the front camera here, which is 10 megapixels. So that's definitely better. And then you can always use the rear camera selfie mode just by opening the camera like this. And then you can see that I can now use the 50 megapixel main camera even while I'm taking selfies. So there's plenty of options when it comes to selfies with the Galaxy Z Fold because of the flexible design. The biggest bummer with the Galaxy Z Fold 6 is the price. It starts at $1899, which is $100 more than the Galaxy Z Fold 5. I don't think that's going to bring a lot more people into the foldable tent. The good news, though, is that if you pre-order through Samsung, you can get the next level of storage for free. So you can go from 256 to 512 for the same amount of money. Otherwise, you're looking at $120 as you go up each storage tier. Overall, the Galaxy Z Fold 6 is sleeker, smarter, and more powerful. But I'm not sure if the AI tricks justify the higher price. Stay tuned for our full review of the Galaxy Z Fold 6. Be sure to follow us on socials at Tom's Guide. And for Tom's Guide, this is Mark Spoonell.